Hi, and welcome to the Soul Mazal Emunah series. I am your host, Rabbi David Katz. And we're picking up where we left off. Let's go. We're in the Otzer HaMazal, the Encyclopedia of Mazal, Collection of Mazal, which is the Ultimate Emunah series. Let's go. Hemshech Michtav Miliyahu Hadvarim Amurim Lagabi HaYochid HaPrat. The continuation from the Sefer Mechtav Miliyahu speaks about things concerning the individual, the specific rather than the general, the individual rather than the collective. It's in our hands to explain two types of mazel that are found in the governing of this world. Right? God governs this world, type 1, hurry up. And there's two kinds of mazel and how God does it. The lama ha'echad nitin lehishtanus the hasheni lo. How come one can change his mazel and the other guy can't? The kol zehu b'mashen agel liyachidim. All of this is in what's particular to an individual. Everything ultimately is an individual-based experience and reality. Geder hamazul lagabe umus ha'ilam. The condition of mazel by the nations of the world. Hashem natan al kol am koichiv u'mazel yedua. God has placed on every idolatrous nation Hashem noten al kol am koichev u'mazel yedua. On every nation of star and astrological sign as known. These are called the ministers over the nations of the world. Tav haramban vayikra. Ki Hashem anichban bara hakol. God created everything. And he placed power of the belows in the aboves. And also, Bekisve Yavitor, what's that word? Uberakanti, what that is, the Hefich. The Sam Koyach El Yoinim B'Tochvein. He also placed the power of the aboves in the belows. And he placed over each and every nation of the lands of the nations a star and astrological phenomenon, as is known, Kasher Noida Be'atstaganius. That's a word we're going to have to look up right there. That's a word we got to look up. Atstagninios. What was that? Atstag. What's that? Atstag. What is that? I think it's gonna be astrologers, but what's that word? Atstagninos. 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 Let's use Rabbi Google here. Since Rabbi Jastro Jackpot didn't work out. Let's see here. Atz. Tag. Minus. There it is. Astrolog. Yeah, astrologer. Okay. Just making sure. We don't need to do any of what is art here. And this, as it says, that is a portion of God, your God. Otam l'kul ha'amim. V'zeu shenemar asher chelek Hashem l'kecha otam l'kul ha'amim. Ki chelek l'kulam mazalos b'shamayim gavoyim aleim malachi elyin nitnan l'yos sarim aleim. So God gave like the portion of the essence of that nation and a heavenly minister over it. As it says in Daniel, the minister or angel of Pras, Iran, stood against me, and it's written, V'hine sar yavim bo. Here comes the minister of Greece. That's what Michael said in the book of Daniel. So Daniel was a revelation of this, of the ministers over the nations. 70 nations, and each one of them there's a Mazal in the firmament and a minister above. Ki 70 nations and 70 languages. Each one there's a Mazal in the firmament and a minister above, Ki inyan shenemar Daniel, as it says in Daniel. V'kulam koichiv u'mazul lachin yasu lehem Elohim mehem v'avdum. To all of them there's a star and a Mazal, and therefore they will do Yasu lehem Elohim mehem, that God does stuff to them from them. The King Sav Ramban Devarim Asher Chelek Hashem L'Kecha Al Yisem L'Kol Ha'amim Ki L'Kulam Kol Yichivu Mazul V'Gveim Aleim Al Elyon V'Eretz Sari Omer Sheim Gavayim Al Omus Kol Achet Al Umas. So we already read that, and then we already read about the angels in Daniel, just repeating the same stuff. L'Kulam V'Am Kol Yichiv Yidu Al Mazul V'Chein Yish Mazul L'Kol Yiriyir. Every country, every nation, every city has an angel. So that makes perfect sense when you go to cities. I know in my travels, when I went to London and New York, Cape Town, there's always a radically different vibe in the city, right? You can really get the sense of city. What you're really sensing is an angel. Mamish, an angel and its wisdom. Every star and constellation, Emunah, like how do you say Emunah? Like economizes on its nation and bestows. I'm a fire he chochmas a koyvi Mazal ikrev l'artzis Yishmael Mazal Keshet the Pras Mazal Gedi the Plishtim Mazal Betsula o Moznayim le'edom. So Ishmael has its own astrological sign. So does Edom, and so does Iran, and so do the Palestinians, i.e. the Plishtim, Virgo, Aries, all these different things. The nations serve with intermediaries. Yisrael mashivim kol hakavod l'siva rishonim v'lo imsayim v'zeh shorosh ha'evda. What is the difference between the nation of Israel and the Goyim? The nation of Israel has no intermediary. Shituf alert! Shituf alert! Shituf! Obiyar's rule at Sari was Zayin Ksav Shigar Edo Ben Omas of Israel Shehein noigim kavod lesivas himsayis v'nachnu Moshiach kula kavod lesiva rishon v'lo himsayim. They give honor and privilege to their intermediary host. V'chein sav l'gudim mamarim v'zeh kol sharish hegel bein Yisrael la'amim shemos ha'olim v'choshim v'deheim hoilim v'shtalusim. It makes sense. Yeshu would be the backside of Metatron, right? So when Ishmael and Iran, they receive from their astrological signs, Virgo, Aries. So a Stam Christian or Islamic faith that revolves around the Messiah or Yeshu, right? Isa is the part of the Messiah in Islam, right? What that is a tikkun for the backside of Metatron. So you're a nation trying to get through your intermediary Shituf, get your sustenance through an intermediary, and your intermediary is going to come, let's say, to Virgo, right? But the people of Iran are not masters of astrology. Number one, they're idolatrous. They wouldn't even think to use the wisdom the right way. So by having religion of Christianity and Islam, for example, then it's Metatron on the backside. So once you go with Yashka, it's just kind of a general Shituf. It's like you're already in the mold of Shituf. And then you're getting your sustenance. And it doesn't have to be a clear connection because you're getting it from backside anyways. All they're doing is the wisdom is used for the intermediary, and Yeshu is just an easy target to generalize how you're going to get at your shefa from the backside. And that is the essence of Metatron on the backside. Einam tachan reshus Hashem yeshiris ela al yadeim sa'i. They're not under the jurisdiction of God directly, rather through the intermediary. Umas ha'olim monhagim tagas and hagas hateva. The nations are under nature. The arrangement of the solar system, which is nature, life cycle, and this is why they never actually drop God completely. There is no such thing as an atheist, right? Because the nations have to get sustenance, and sustenance is coming from God. So if it's the Goyish nations, then they're going to get it through the intermediary. And remember, you have to get food. You can't just starve and live. So you start to get cyclical and natural. You start to depend on nature. So when the Nile River floods, you have your shefa for the whole year in Egypt, type 1. So we get our shefa from the Nile River, type 1. Hello. Therefore, let's just go ahead and worship the Nile River, because if we worship it, we won't let it go, and we'll always get our shefa. Make sense? Type 1. So then you have to figure out the wisdom of which astrological sign and this. I mean, by that time, you're already getting into wisdom. You might as well just serve God. Get rid of the intermediary. So if you just call it, Yeshu loves us, right? That the river just floods because it's close to Easter. I mean, whatever it is, whatever denomination you need to believe in to you get your sustenance to rationalize that the Nile River flooded because Yeshu gave us great gifts. So back in the day, it was Canaanite idolatry in Egypt around the Nile, right? So organized religion, you can see, replaced wisdom. They used to have wisdom of Avodah Zarah for whatever reason. Why didn't they just go right to God? That's what God's asking too. So today, instead of making it so hard on wisdom in Avodah Zarah, just have religion, Christian, Islam, Buddhism, and you still get the shefa, right? So you don't really need to know why the Nile River floods. Just, thank the Shituf Lord that gave us the flooding Nile River. The way to break it, obviously, is to remove the intermediary, remove the Shituf, and understand God gives Shefa. If it comes to a flooding river, thank God. That was God that did it, nobody else, type 1. But again, that requires wisdom as well, and understanding how Mazal works, and the 3 parts of Mazal, how God works with you, how God has Ma'aseh Bereshis, how God governs creation. That's what God wants. God gets no more pleasure in this world than those that study Ma'aseh Merkava, Ma'aseh Bereshis. But again, when Avodah Zarah and the nations remove the wisdom, you either have to be an expert in Avodah Zarah, which is what they used to do. God only knows why. I mean, why? If you're already going to be in wisdom, why won't you just serve God? Why do you got to do it through Avodah Zarah? But that's what they were facing back then. Probably because the wisdom came a lot easier than through Torah. Torah is very difficult to get the wisdom. But if you just have kind of perverted relations of things, the wisdom just comes to you, so you get the wisdom through the backside. Now they're saying wisdom is just too hard. We got to clean up society. So it's easier just to say that the Shituf God makes the world go round. We don't ask why. We just have dogma. So it sounds familiar, everybody? And then, the Shituf God gives us our stuff. Hallelujah, right? And again, the Tikkun is Torah Judaism, which we're doing now, and understanding how God runs the world. So that's the difference between the nation of Israel and the other nations. The nations they go through their minister, and the minister comes through this intermediary in Shituf. Israel goes right to God, has no intermediary, and receives a shefa from God. This is going to go on for a little while here, I see. Wow, this is going to be a good little piece. Yeah, so we'll stop there, and we'll pick up with the nations of the world. Wait a minute. We're in the middle of this. Hold on a second. The nations are under nature, so your Shituf God is going to be revolving around nature and cycles rather than God himself. So they go by like the solar calendar, the seasons, the sun god. And again, when it goes into organized religion, it just becomes McDonald's, right? Buddha loves me because the sun is shining, which is all based, nature-based, time-based, the world events-based. Wow, here it is, Jacques. Here it is. Ready? They're not commanded. Wait, how do you say this? This is very good. Let's say they're not commanded to be idolaters. Right? God is not saying, hey, everybody, I know it's real hard to serve me and all, so go ahead and be a Christian and be a Buddhist and believe in Shituf. Type 1. Ready? So then what is God's requirement for the nations? Type 1, everybody. What does God want? Everyone believes in God, and God's there, and Shituf exists. So what does God want from everybody in the nations? They shouldn't serve idolatry mamish. What does that mean? What does it mean then, Jacques? Not to serve idolatry mamish. What does that mean? What is the ikr here? It means to not forsake God completely. He doesn't want faith in a total avodah zarah in place of faith of God. Now, we are not saying Shituf is good. What we're saying is, why does God allow Shituf? Right? Everyone hear the question. There are nations in the world that are in Shituf. What is God doing by Shituf? The ikr, the real ikr is don't forsake God completely. That's what God wants. Don't forsake me completely. God is merciful, and you understand some people will unfortunately, partially forsake God because it was a sunny day, and that's a good Christian thing, right? God's saying that's not the best thing in the world. You can become Ger and become attached to Israel and get your Mazal, but at least you know that there is a God. And we all know this, right? Shituf means that you believe in God, but you just kind of, you cheat on wisdom and you believe in the Shituf. Because what God is really makpid about is don't forsake God completely. Don't say there is no God and Mr. Potato Head gave me my stuff, right? Don't say that you get your stuff from Mr. Potato Head doll that you dress up with glasses and stuff, and that's God, and God gives you stuff. That's too much. That's gone too far, and you've forsaken God, and it's straight up idolatry. He says, but the nations, remember, they have a heavenly minister. It's not like they can so much help their Shituf, right? Over Ireland, there is a minister, type 1. That's right. Shituf is the filter. So they're going to say in Ireland, the grass is green because the church is green, right? Church is green, grass is green. And it's not the worst thing in the world. They understand, okay, God makes the grass green and God gave us the church and the church is green. Hallelujah. It's better than saying Mr. Potato Head made the grass green. Now, does God want to leave the heavenly ministers of the world and the filter and the Shituf? Read the Ramchal and Mashiach. In the time of Mashiach, the heavenly ministers will all be brought down, and God will be one in the world, and his name will be one. The world will be Ger. Everyone will recognize God. No more Shituf. Idolatry removed. Yada, yada. Does that sound like a good thing to you? Sounds like a good thing to me. So while we're amending the universe, there is Shituf and heavenly ministers and the filter. But to say that there's no heavenly minister is false. So if you say you're a complete idolater, you are denying the Shituf reality, that there's a heavenly minister. So idolatry is a straight up lie. Because God put heavenly ministers over the nations. Now, the nations are to remove the heavenly minister through the Torah and belief in God and bring the world to believing in God. And then you have the Sitra Achra, which is the heavenly ministers fighting for their Shituf. So at the very beginning, how did the heavenly ministers defend their ground? Let the people engage in Avodah Zarah, and then no one can remove the ministers, right? The ministers made a fence for their Shituf. But that's stupid, because it's a denial of reality. It's like the snake doing more than he could or should. So God removed Avodah Zarah and said, all right, everybody, there's no Avodah Zarah, there's a God, and now we're going to just go with Shituf, because the ministers have their post. So the final repair will be when God brings down the ministers, which is the task of the nation of Israel, to make God one in the world, God one, his name one, and bring all of planet Earth and the nations to recognize God, remove the ministers, remove Shituf, and pronounce the Shema Yisrael, Hashem Eloheinu, Hashem Echad. That's all this week. I hope you enjoyed. You can see how Jacques, your meme is pretty good. Where there's Mazal, there's no Shituf. Where there's Shituf, there's no Mazal. I think that's definitely the theme of the nation, the almost the oilam with Mazal. It's definitely where we're seeing this thing. And Emunah is a big deal. Where there is true Emunah, there is real Mazal. Where your Emunah is false, then your Mazal is lacking. And I think look, Shituf is not a great thing. It's the concretized backside of the Noga. It's just part of life, right? Well, I think we all kind of have Klippa in our lives. Shituf is something there. God put it there, allowed it to be there. Avodah Zarah was never supposed to be. And Shituf is destined to go down. That's why there was a Har Sinai in the giving of the Torah, because Shituf ultimately will be removed. The foreskins of the hearts will be circumcised, and God will be one in the universe. Why did God create Klippa? Go learn Kabbalah. That's how the creation of the world was made. The tikkun of the world is when we redeem the sparks of Kedusha and remove the klippah from the garden, and God is one on earth. That's just a Kabbalistic mission. Nation of Israel was brought out of the Shituf. Would you say there's no real? We know for a fact there's no real avodah zarah today. When there was never real avodah zarah in the time of the Canaanites, because there was Shituf, but the Shituf was in what do you call it? Cahoots with the avodah zarahs. So the Canaanites were idolaters, but that was by helping from the Shituf, the ministers. So today we know that prophecy was removed and avodah zarah was removed, and with the advent of Christianity and religion, everything of avodah zarah today is Shituf. And again, that's just how God created the world. He created the foreskin. He took a nation of people to be removed from the foreskin. And the final repair is when we remove the foreskin from our hearts and our ears and our physical bodies, everything. Why would God allow there to be Shituf? Very good question. We know that God created man in a world where we have to finish the job. We see it. It's not exactly avodah zarah. Because underneath of all Shituf, they do know there's a God. So what God is saying is, through Shituf, just don't abandon me completely. What God is saying to Adam is, don't abandon me completely. And God has the right to say that. I am Hashem your God, and you shall have no other gods. It's definitely a great philosophical meditation. They have to make it better first. Then they can let the filter up. 100%. Why were you all idiot kids and now you're grown, mature adults? It's just how God made the universe. Right? Shituf is nothing more than Mohin, the Katnut. And God willing, we'll be in Mochin, the godless, before not too long. That's all for now. See you guys for class on Thursday.